Should you trust your doctor? The short answer, no, absolutely not. Now, I'm generalizing. I'm referring to the sorts of doctors that are in the mainstream. These are the primary care physicians, internists, and specialists who work in hospitals, are in everyday practice. There are certainly integrative health practitioners, chiropractors, functional medicine doctors, and similar practitioners who have made it their business to practice health, not just health care. I'm not really referring to those people. I'm referring to the mainstream medical doctors of the sort you encounter in an emergency room or an operating room or hospital floors. I would not trust my colleagues. I practiced medicine for 25 years. I did 17 years of education and training to practice cardiology. And so I saw a lot in those years. I can tell you that the majority of interactions that my colleagues have with patients put business first and foremost. Business and money, revenue and profit are virtually always at the top of the list of concerns. And then your welfare. And so you often don't know when a decision is being made for the sake of increased revenue, increased profit. But I'll tell you, it is incredibly common for a doctor to recommend a procedure for their personal gain. It could be a cardiac catheterization or an angioplasty. It could be an MRI. It could be a elective hip replacement, whatever. And part of that decision is almost always personal gain. Now, that personal gain may not be direct. It may not just be a physician's fee, a procedural fee. It could be the hospital system that this doctor works for, because that's how things work nowadays. Most physicians are employees of either a large group or a system, a hospital system. And the system tells the doctor, the more revenue you generate, the larger your end of quarter bonus. Okay? So that motivates the doctor to churn out more MRIs, neurology consultations, tilt table studies, heart catheterizations, lumbar taps, all kinds of testing to increase revenue, because his end of quarter bonus could be very hefty. It could be $50,000 or something along those lines. And so there's tremendous motivation to squeeze you for your insurance money. This is not always true, but it is largely true. So if a doctor tells you you need some procedure, you want to grill the heck out of this doctor for the reasons why, what alternatives are there, what happens if I don't, and always consider another opinion. Another reason why you shouldn't trust most doctors is because they practice very enthusiastically willful ignorance. That is, they will become educated in the procedures and activities that yield revenues, profit for themselves, for their systems. They will willfully be ignorant about things that don't lead them down that path. Nutrition. If you want to encounter ignorance in nutrition, go to your primary care doctor, or your gastroenterologist, or your cardiologist, or your ophthalmologist. You will encounter complete ignorance. They may echo what the Heart Association or the American Diabetes Association or the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics tell them. You know, those organizations that take big donations from industry, those organizations. So there's willful ignorance of the things that do not generate revenue and profit, like nutrition, nutritional supplements. Why are doctors so inept, for instance, in managing something as simple but crucial for health like vitamin D or iodine? They say outrageously incorrect things like, there's no need to take iodine, even though we know a large portion of the population, we know this from National Institutes of Health data, a large segment of the population is now iodine deficient because they're using less iodized salt. So the doctor is willfully ignorant of many, many aspects of your health. So when you get an opinion from a doctor, you're talking to somebody who chose only to seek out, to understand, to deliver revenue-generating activities and procedures. Even when simple, inexpensive, natural methods are already available, accessible, and maybe free, or right in your kitchen, or right at the health food store, someplace very accessible to you. So you can't trust them because they put business first, more often than not, and two, they practice willful ignorance and will not be aware of all those other things that you could do, you could incorporate for your health. So what do? Well, you find one practitioner you can trust. You may have to see 6, 7, 8 to find one. By the way, do not use those lists or ranks you see in newspapers and magazines, because that's how they game the system. Those ratings, those rankings are virtually always paid for by the practitioners, or more commonly the healthcare systems. So typically, for instance, let's say there's going to be a top doctors in whatever city. What the hospitals do is they insist that all their employees, the nurses, nurses' aides, the pharmacists, everybody in the hospital, rate the doctors who work in that system. So the system is easily gamed, easily manipulated in favor of the systems or the doctors or the practitioners who know how to use the system. So do not use those silly, dopey rankings or lists, because they too many tricks going on, too many shenanigans going on to manipulate the system. And I've seen this happen. Some of the finest practitioners who are upstanding, who put health first, are aware of the full scope of things that are available in a certain area of health, aren't even listed. It's because they don't have a system often, or don't know how to organize people to game the system. So don't pay attention to those rankings, but find one practitioner. You know, the old-fashioned way still works, asking friends, neighbors, acquaintances who they use. All you need to do is find one practitioner who is honest, takes an interest in your health, not just the bottom line. And you can almost always kind of judge who that is, right? By the way they talk, by the way they look you in the eye, how much time they spend with you, whether they actually understand your issues, whether they listen to your questions, whether they consider the questions you ask and don't just blow you off. Find that one practitioner. And that one practitioner will virtually always already know of a network of like-minded practitioners. So maybe you start with a gynecologist, for instance, who you have learned to trust. And this gynecologist is willing to talk about bioidentical hormones and nutrition, and not following general guidelines that are stupid, like some of the guidelines for during pregnancy and breastfeeding. That gynecologist probably knows a good primary care doctor, probably knows a good general surgeon, probably knows a good gastroenterologist. So all you need to do is identify just one practitioner, and then you've likely opened the door for numerous like-minded practitioners. So look for those occasional gems. They're out there. But do not just accept the word of any everyday doctor because he or she says do this or do that. Always question, always doubt, never take the first answer, okay? But then find that one practitioner you can trust. Now, this is why I wrote the book Undoctored. I wrote it because I knew that people could not trust the healthcare system any longer. It's too corrupt, it's too predatory, it's too exploitative. But beyond that, you know what? You are capable of achieving astounding things in health. But it won't come from your doctor. And the health you can achieve on your own is not almost as good as the health you get from the doctor. The health you can achieve on your own, given some basic tools, is dramatically superior to the health you'd get from your doctor. So that's the basis for my Undoctored book. I invite you to take a look at that. I invite you to sign up my YouTube channel for other videos with these kinds of thoughts, and to come on my Undoctored blog as well as my Wheat Belly blog.